Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of The Push with Nick and KB. We are back once again to do a recap for a reactions video for NXT No Mercy, which took place last night, September 27th, in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. The opening contest of the night is one I didn't think would be, and that is Javon Evans and Josh Briggs. Of course, as we discussed on the predictions video, Javon Evans definitely felt like he needed the win more here, and Booker T kind of attested to that on commentary. Josh Briggs obviously won the last bout, so I'm sure we'll see another match. But for this instance, Javon Evans does end up getting the win here, and this match was very personal. Obviously, Javon had lost their last contest. That coupled with the fact that Javon competed the night before and the SmackDown Open Challenge with Sami Zayn. Obviously, that played a part here and very much hit on with the commentary team. And it felt like Javon was definitely behind the eight ball for this one, and Javon felt like he dished out probably minimum 3/4 of the offense here, but just couldn't quite finish off Briggs. And, although he didn't dish out as much offense, his was much more effective and hard hitting, that of course being the offense of Josh Briggs. The ending comes when Josh Briggs tries to go for another choke slam, but Javon reverses it into a cutter and then lands a super cutter off the top ropes to finally put away Briggs. Yeah, I think this is a pretty good match, a nice way to kick off NXT. Definitely getting a face win is always a common tactic to kick off a PLE for WWE. And and commentary team definitely hit on this. Javon needed this win, and we kind of agreed to that as well. So I think it was the right choice here. Definitely not Javon's best match, but a decent bout nonetheless. And Javon clearly not 100%, and so making him look that much stronger by being able to get the win here over Josh Briggs. But I don't think we're quite done with this one. But for now, Javon gets the win to kick off NXT No Mercy. And for this one, I gave it a 7 out of 10. Like I said, not the best Javon match, but a decent enough match. The next match, which was supposed to be Ruca and Laney Reed going for that NXT Women's Speed Championship, but it apparently was announced on X before the show started. I hadn't seen that yet, so it was news to me as it was announced by Vic Joseph pretty much right before the match. Announced that Laney wasn't able to compete tonight, so Soul still wanted to defend that title, as she should. Was awaiting a challenger. I think it was just like a question mark blank slate on the card. I think they accidentally showed that earlier in the evening, but it ended up being answered by Jaida Parker, which I'm fine with that. I think it is a bit interesting that Jaida Parker gets that title shot. Obviously, she didn't earn like Laney did, but regardless, I think this is just trying to make sure we get some sort of match. But KP has obviously voiced his displeasure with these speed matches, but I will say that this one being a championship match and having that 5-minute rule, which I wasn't aware of, but instead of the 3, I think this does make a huge difference and kind of something that I thought, or I think could help if they were to implement that 5 minutes. Still not a ton of time, but definitely much better than the 3-minute, I would say personally. So it just gives them enough time to, you can't really mess around much, but at least gives you more time to kind of cook a bit. So it felt like Miss Parker had this one all wrapped up. She had just hit Ruca with that hypnotic outside of the ring, but then makes the mistake of getting distracted by Zarya. And then Lash Legend also appeared, and she ends up eating a spear from Zarya. I think that was intended for Jaida, but regardless, the end result is the same as Jaida gets back into the ring and then eats a Soul Snatcher from Soul for her troubles. This allows Ruca to win and retain her Speed Championship. So a decent match, but even with the 5 minutes, felt like they were forced to kind of rush the story, and they still had, I think, 30 seconds at the end there. So, and then Jaida probably messed around outside of the ring for at least 30 seconds ish, which is crazy. We have to. I think that's what I like about these speed matches. Obviously, they're rushed and they have to get in stuff much quicker, but a 30-second mishap can cost you the match. And I think what I like best about this format of the championship match is, had Jaida not been pinned and nothing, decision not made in the 5 minutes, then Soul retains. So I do like that bit. But yeah, that unfortunately was the mistake that ended up costing Miss Parker here to allow Soul Ruca to retain. But yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with the Laney Reed bit, if that is kayfabe or real. If it is real, hopefully she has a speedy recovery and gets that opportunity that she did, rightfully deserve sooner rather than later. But yeah, kind of as I hit on earlier, I don't think it would have been right for Miss Parker to win here. Obviously, didn't do much to earn it. So as for the match, yeah, I gave it a 6 out of 10. A little bit better than the typical 3 minutes for sure. So taking that as a positive here. We then get into what I deem the best match of the night, and that is the next stage in this rivalry of Jordynne Grace and Blake Monroe in a weaponized steel match. It wasn't 60 seconds into this match that the weapons start to come into play. This match was wildly personal, and you could feel it between both women. And both of them kind of brought their, they brought out all the stops here. Both went through quite a few spots, went through hell here. A bag of diamonds, kind of paying tribute to the thumbtacks there, neither of which I'm sure feel great, but at least the diamonds aren't stuck in your back after the match. So there's that. The part where Jordynne Grace gets tied up with a hair dryer. It's a great kind of personal touch, glamorous touch, if you will, by Blake. Tie her to the ring ropes and then proceed to cut Jordynne Grace's hair off. And as you can see in that top right picture that's quite a bit of hair there. I don't know if it's all extensions or not. I'm not really sure, but regardless, clearly making this match feel more personal. So I love that as well. Then we have Grace, who has her thumb tied up. That was obviously mentioned numerous times, and Blake Monroe obviously targeting that quite a bit. And then, yeah, the trash cans, having the either be pink or have the Blake Monroe cartoon on there. I thought all of this was great. Just made the match feel very personal, very different, and made it kind of stand out compared to other steel cage matches. And I did like the fact that, obviously, one of my biggest gripes with steel cages today is that you could just walk out the door. They made it so that you could not in that case, which is, I think, how all steel cage matches should be. But regardless, that definitely added to it. And it didn't really feel like either woman really wanted to do that anyways. They came here to get to revenge, on their opponents. So I thought this went really well throughout all that. And Jordynne Grace does get the win here, and it's, that comes with a caveat, though. I don't feel like either of these women really come out a winner here. Yeah, you may have won the match, but both endured quite a bit of punishment. Of course, that ending coming with that air raid crash from Jordynne Grace to Blake Monroe to get the win. Yeah, I love this one. I loved everything about it. Felt personal, felt unique, and of course, KP and I both thought Jordynne Grace should get the win here, and she does just that. So, yeah, match of the night for me. I thought this was a ton of fun. In between this match and the next match, we have an Ava announcement who comes on and says that there will be an Invasion episode of NXT on October 7th. So that's obviously between TNA and NXT. But yeah, announcing that for October 7th on a weekly show. It's a Tuesday show, not a standoff PLE. So I was a bit disappointed that was the case. I think a PLE would be a lot more fun and give them a lot more time to do what they need to do. But NXT rarely kind of messes that up. So I'm sure that will be a fun enough event even on a Tuesday show. So very much looking forward to that, and using this stage to kind of announce that I thought was a great call as well. Getting into the next match, we have Tavion Heights going up against Ethan Page, of course, defending that NXT North American Championship. And this is a lot more one-sided than I thought it would be, honestly. Booker T kind of hit it and said it best. I think just said that Tavion, I don't think, is really quite ready for the stage yet. And it really did feel like that for Tavion. I would say one of All Ego's most dominant matches, I think, that I can recall. Um, yeah, I just didn't feel like I just assumed, Tavion had gotten the better of Ethan in the first 2 out of 3 of their matches. So this one being the third, obviously. So, I don't think either KP or I thought that this was going to be would result in Tavion grabbing that title, but I would say I did expect it to be a little more competitive. Ethan pretty dominant here, so I don't know if that's Tavion just not quite ready yet. Even when the announcers are selling that fact that he's not quite ready, maybe that's just the case here, and he'll come back in a bit. But for now, I think, Ethan comes up with the statement win here. And then after the match, we see once again on the Jumbotron, we saw El Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr. Tells Ethan that he has eyes on the champion. So clearly going that route now. And they kind of been teasing that as well with that AAA talent. So clearly he's taking that over there for now. And maybe Tavion moves on to something else as well. But yeah, I was surprised because typically we see the U.S. guy, the good guy, come out on top. But for Ethan to come through so dominant here was pretty shocking. But I'm not mad about it. I think Ethan does deserve his flowers here. So no issues with me. But yeah, definitely not either of these guys' best match. And so I gave this one a 6.5 out of 10. Just shocking how it happened, really. Our next match has Lola Vice going up against Jacy Jayne, of course, defending her NXT Women's Championship. Say what you want about Jacy, but she far exceeds expectations on every level in every single one of her matches. They are entertaining. I think a lot of that kind of is because of her. Of course, Fallon Henley plays a large part in this match, so much so that she ends up getting banned from ringside. And at this point in the match, I'm sitting here thinking, was KP's prediction right? Definitely getting her money's worth is Jacy Jayne before Fallon gets, pushed off to the back. We hit on this in the predictions video, but all things were pointing in Lola's favor, and Jacy did everything she could to make sure that both her family and that home field advantage were taken away. The ending comes when Lola hits that back fist on Jacy, but then because of where she is in the ring, she ends up falling off to ringside. Where her momentum carries her out, and while outside of the ring, a hooded figure knocks Lola back down with a pretty vicious knee strike, and Lola barely makes the 10 count, but as soon as she does, she eats a rolling encore from Jacy Jayne. Alas, that is your finish. So it didn't come out, it didn't come without loads of assistance for Jacy, but she does retain here and gets the victory and still your NXT Women's Champion. So obviously the main takeaway here is does Lola get another shot? Obviously that wasn't a fair ending, as most things kind of typically go with Jacy Jayne. But the main question here for me, outside of that, is who is the masked or who is the hooded character here? But I'm sure we'll find that out sooner rather than later. Is it Lainey Reed? As KP had kind of predicted, she wasn't included in her speed match, which was interesting. I don't know if that's part of the plan or not. But yeah, interesting to see. Obviously, Fatal Influence here down one member, so interesting to see where we go from here. But yeah, give this one a 7.5 out of 10. Again, another consistent performance from Jacy and Lola here. We then get into the main event, which has Ricky Saints going up against Oba Femi, defending that NXT championship. And yeah, this match felt like it was all in Oba's favor, kind of similar to a couple matches earlier in the day. This one, the difference here being this was very slow paced and Ricky couldn't seem to get a quicker pace going. Obviously, that's going to be his, goal here, to get a quicker pace, kind of out cardio the ruler. But every time he does, try to get a quicker pace, he ends up getting knocked down. It seems like Oba very much felt like he dominated a good portion of this match, and Ricky slowly climbs back into it and has just enough to end up getting the win over Oba. I think it took 4 DDTs there, rolling DDTs, there at the end to finally get him, one of which on the table, one on the padded mat, one on the off the ring, and then another one for good measure as Oba was still fighting back at that point. So yeah, I don't think either KP or I saw this coming. It just felt like it wasn't enough there yet. We had lots of other matches where he felt like was, the writing was on the wall. Oba's reign was going to be finished here. But I don't think either of us thought it was impossible either for Ricky to get the win here, and he does just that. I didn't think it was impossible for Ricky to be that guy. I just think he still has some work to do on that main event scene. But yeah, I'm excited for this. I think, personally, I think this probably has more to do with Oba going up to main. Just feels like he kind of hit that point to where, what else can he do at this point? I think he's clearly ready for main. I'd love to see him go up against the likes of Braun Breaker or Gunther. I think that both would be great contests. But yeah, all that being said, Ricky beating out Oba, as I said, I think he has some work to do on his character, getting him to the main event level. But, beating the ruler, ending that reign, that's a hell of a way to start. So, yeah, I give this one an 8 out of 10. Just a little, didn't quite enjoy it as much as that Jordynne Grace Blake Monroe match, but still definitely one of the best matches of the night. These guys just, they know how to tell a story. Oba especially. Ricky's very good as well in his own right, but Oba just knows how to tell a story with the match. From being overconfident to when he finally does get hit with that move that knocks him down off his feet, you can kind of see the fear in his eyes. So he just does a great job with his facial expressions of selling, what in this case was a story we've seen told many times, that David versus Goliath story, but Oba just has a special way to him. So I'm excited to see if this is his last match and he ends up getting called up to main. I haven't seen any rumors for it, but it just feels right with this kind of passing of the torch here. But yeah, excited for that if that ends up being the case. And yeah, we have a new NXT champion. It's been a while since we said that, Ricky Saints. So curious to see if he can continue that momentum. The heavy is the head that wears the crown. So yeah, excited to see what Ricky Saints can do with it. But with that is our No Mercy NXT No Mercy reactions video. A pretty good PLE overall. All mine average out to about a 7.25. So pretty good there. Nothing groundbreaking, I think. NXT PLEs have this huge expectation that they have to try to live up to, that they've set for years and years. I don't think this one was one that I'll come back to watch, all the time. I think outside of the Jordynne Grace Blake Monroe match would be definitely my favorite. I might come back to watch that one, but even that one doesn't have that rewatchability, I think, for years to come. And then obviously this one will be known for the end of the reign of the ruler, in which Oba Femi finally lost that NXT championship. So pretty good PLE overall. Just nothing super crazy, but a good consistent event, which is what we expect at the minimum from these NXT PLEs. So with that, this has been the latest episode of The Push with Nick and KP. If you like and or disagree with us, please let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button as well. That helps us out tremendously. We will be continuing to do our WrestleMania project, working on those. A few of those coming out here this upcoming week. And, of course, we'll be back with the Raw, NXT, and SmackDown recaps as well. But until next time, this has been The Push with Nick and KP. We'll see you soon. Take care.